Michigan Nation, let's go, boys. Let's go. Hey, it's your boy TJ Ronin. You can find me on the socials at TJ_Ronin. And boys, we're going to talk about why this class is so great. Number 6 class in the nation. We are going to get into the different sites and where they have us ranked. We're going to get into a very interesting graphic, which I'm going to bring up right next, that breaks down why this is such a historic class for Michigan. We're going to look at the class itself, the individual players, and then we are going to get into a little bit of highlights. And of course, we're going to look at the depth chart. So let's pull up this graphic. Very interesting graphic that my guy Double BB made. This is essentially the history breakdown of Michigan recruiting since 2010. And as you can see, this is and one thing I want to point out in the very beginning, obviously it's ranked number 6 in the nation. The highest average in the last 15 years, guys, 92.06. 92.06. Now, we were robbed. We should have 3 5-stars. We all know the story on that. I don't need to get into it. Rivals. Rivals. Let's not get into it, though. That's disrespectful. Anyways, let's get into what do we have. We have 2 5-stars, 15 4-stars, and 7 3-stars. That is 17 blue chips, guys. If we look at the score, this is the second highest score in the last 15 years. The highest score came into 2017. That was the Jim Harbaugh class that finished 5th in the nation at 296.03. And if you also look, one thing I want to point out in that class, that's 30 commits. That's 6 kids less. You know, if Michigan was to, get to that level in terms of the quantity of recruits, I feel confident Michigan would surpass that number. But it's okay. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, this is a very quality class, very strong class. And it's also very interesting. Let's take a look at also where is Michigan ranked the previous years when Michigan wasn't playing NIL. They were ranked 16th. They were ranked 17th. They did pull a number 9 class in 2022 after a very strong season in 2021 when they won the Big Ten championship, and then the 13th, and then the 10th class. We have been outside of the top 10, guys, 3 times in the last 5 years. Outside of it, terrible. We did have a couple good classes in 2019, Jim Harbaugh again, 2017, 2016. These are, again, Jim Harbaugh classes. And then, obviously, Jim Harbaugh's first year where he had a class ranked 37th with 14 total commitments. He had like a month and a half or 2 months to get that class together. But at the end of the day, boys, as you can see, there's a change of the guard at Michigan. There's a new era at Michigan. Steve Wilfong said it best. Michigan will not be out NIL'd. We know that. You watched our show, you would know all about that, where we are with that and where that stands. A few things I want to also bring up to you guys that I put some notes in my notes here. Michigan has 7 top 100 players. They have the number 1 overall recruit in the nation, the number 1 quarterback in the nation. They have a 70% blue chip ratio. They have 5 defensive backs. This is wild. Shout out to Lamar Morgan. 5 defensive backs in the top 150 players. They also flipped recruits from colleges like LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Auburn, Pitt, Cincinnati, and North Carolina State. Obviously, some of the classes in the beginning of that were far more impressive than others because we're winning SEC battles, boys. It's a new era. Michigan's doing the damn thing. What else I also want to bring up is Michigan also has 2 top 10 offensive tackles, should be top 5, rivals disrespectful, 2 top 10 safeties, and the number 4 edge in the nation in Nate Marshall, who they flipped from Auburn. The last class to have even more than 6, we have 7, more than 6 top 100 commits in the class was the 2017 number 5 overall class in the nation. So again, shout out to Sean McGee, shout out to Sharon Moore, shout out to everyone who was involved in this recruiting process. You have an elite class, your very first class for Sharon Moore. And on top of that, shout out to the regents on this. Shout out to Ward Manuel. We are critical of Ward Manuel. Shout out to Ward Manuel. This is a top-down situation where Michigan has really upped their game and is an elite top 5 recruiting school in the nation. You say, well, we're ranked 6. How are we top 5? NIL, we're top 5, boys. We're top 5. And I'm going to tell you this right now, 2026 class, be on the lookout. They're going for the top 5. Now, let's take a look at where does 247 have us in their ranking? We know this. It is the top 6 spot. It is 6 overall. And then I want to also take a look at where does On3 have us in our ranking. So here we go, 6 overall. And you may be saying, TJ, why are you showing us all these various sites? Because they're not all equal. Every single site has their own ranking tool. If we go to Rivals, which we're not very high on Rivals, but if we go to Rivals, which we will, number 6 overall, boys. Number 6 overall. Now, what's also interesting, I'll say about On 3, we'll go back to On 3. They have us at 2 5-stars and only 14 4-stars. But if you look at Rivals, they have us at 2 5-stars and 17 4-stars. So we'll give them some credit there, although the Ty Haywood shit is disrespectful, but we'll keep that moving. Let's take a look at the class overall, guys. So here we go. Here's your 2025 class. Here's your foundation class. Here is what is going to lead Sharon Moore to his next national title. I received a text message. I just thought about this right now. I received a text message yesterday from a Buckeye. I will not name his name out of respect, but this is what he told me. He goes, I'll admit, Sharon Moore cooked like a motherfucker on this recruiting class. Pardon my language for any children or women listening. If Bryce becomes what a lot of people think he can be, and the last 2 classes, especially what you guys did on the offensive line, talking about the class previously, wouldn't be surprised if Bryce got 1 natty in 2026 or 2027 season. Boys, Michigan's on the trajectory. We even have the Rivals taking notice, aware of what we're doing. I'm gonna tell you right now, diehard Buckeye, but he is he's a realistic Buckeye. He keeps things honest. That's why I mess with him. All right, let's take a look. We got Bryce Underwood here. Obviously, number 1, top dog, best quarterback recruit since Trevor Lawrence. We're excited. The debate of the offseason is, will Bryce Underwood start week 1, snap 1? We'll find out, boys. It's going to be an interesting offseason. We'll be covering that all offseason. Stay tuned to Michigan Voice College Football. Andrew Babalola, the monster, the freak, the number 2 offensive tackle in the nation, 10th overall, 2 top. That's another thing we didn't bring up yet. 2 top 10 players in the nation in this class, guys. Hell of a job, guys. Hell of a job. Shamari Earls ranked 77th in the nation. 6'2" corner. Some people are very, they're talking Will Johnson level of talent. Maybe not as refined, technically sound, but in terms of athletically gifted. Andrew Marsh, personal favorite, friend of the show. We had him on in the summer. We did an interview with him. Not just because, he did that with us, and not just because, we've talked with him. Andrew Marsh is a dog, boys. Andrew Marsh is a dog. Ranked 82nd in the nation, 13th overall wide receiver. I don't have an issue with that ranking at all. I think that's very fair. Nathan Owasu-Boateng, the elite. And here we go. We're going to get outside of the national. So let's get to the composite here. 2 for 7. One thing I don't like about 2 for 7. I get it, though. 247. That's what they do. Nathan Owasu-Boateng, right here. Elite linebacker, 6 foot, 205 pounds. In 2 years, he's going to be playing. In 2 years, you'll see him playing. We did skip Jordan Young because he wasn't on 2 for 7's ranking. He is on the composite, though. Jordan Young, ranked 119th in the nation. 4th safety overall in the nation, boys. That's one of your top DBs. Shamari Earls, one of your top DBs. Again, these top 150 DBs, right? You got Avery Gash, who is ranked 278th in the nation. Very good developmental tackle. This is one of those players that I could see in about 3 years really making his time on the field matter, whether that be the 6th-man rotational offensive lineman or actually a starting position. Travis Moten, one of the highest risers in the 2025 class for defensive line. This dude absolutely killed it. I think he had 18 sacks. If I'm not right, it's like 19 or 16. It's something stupid. Shout out to Travis Moten. We're excited to have him. I believe Travis Moten's one of those gems, one of those rare earth gems that Michigan discovers and then turns them into like a 1st, 2nd, 3rd round pick. We got Julius Holly here, who's going to be playing the same position. Good size for the position, 6'3", 230 already. Donovan Johnson, the former 5-star, coming out of IMG Academy. He did get his ranking dipped because he did have an ACL injury a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, but he's on the comeback. He was on a limited snap count this year in his senior year, his first year back. And anyone who knows about, if you're familiar with injuries, especially to the knee, it typically your first year is kind of the get back. Your second year is when you get back to full strength. So I'm excited to see what Donovan Johnson could do in Michigan and hear about his progression this offseason. Caden Strayhorn, dirtbag, nasty, hates Michigan State more than you hate Michigan State. Love this kid. He's going to be a starting center for Michigan in the future. Jamar Browder, elite hands, one of the top hand catchers in the nation. I know his ranking is what it is. It's 535. That's okay. Or 536. That's fine. Area where he can improve. Quickness in terms of, off the line release. And then where he can excel, though, if he becomes an elite route runner, guys, this kid's going to get drafted. And it wouldn't surprise me if it was a day 2 pick or even creeping into day 1. I mean, he has that type of potential. His hands, I'm telling you, you'll find out. If you don't know, you will know. There will be highlights of Jamar Browder making the craziest catches you've seen. Eli Owens, lunch pail having, knuckle dragging, punch you in the mouth, gonna destroy Caleb Downs if Caleb Downs was still there, and he's not gonna be there, but he is your next Max Bredesen. Chase Taylor, personal favorite of mine. I do think he's ranked too low. I think Chase Taylor is a top 350 player in the nation. His highlight tape tells me that. The coaches feel maybe higher than I do, which is crazy. I'm high on Chase Taylor. The coaches love Chase Taylor, and I think Chase Taylor is a fantastic addition to our class. Ty Haywood, as we know, the disrespect at the national ranked 39th player in the nation. Now he's currently the 6th best offensive tackle in the nation. He was 24th in the nation. He was a 5-star. It is what it is, though. We're going to keep it moving. That's fuel to the fire. Ty Haywood, we're glad to have you on the Michigan Wolverines. Nathan Marshall, my favorite recruit of the class. Before he flipped to Auburn, he was without question my favorite recruit. When he flipped to Auburn, I was a little salty about it. I'll be honest. Michigan got him back, though. Doesn't matter. He's a Wolverine. Let's go. He will be a name. He will be an impact player. Sophomore year, I anticipate you're going to see Nate Marshall getting in the rotation at Michigan and probably making an impact. He already has great size, guys. Now, it does say 6'4", 265. I've heard he's down to about 245 right now, which is fine. Good playing weight for him, especially coming into Michigan as a freshman. Kainoa Winston, your Brian Branch. This is one of those, again, top 150 safeties. He's the top 100, though. Brian Branch Jr., boys. I'm telling you, Brian Branch Jr. He just needs to put the mouth guard, although I don't know if college will let you, but if you could put the mouth guard in his helmet, he's a clone. Same guy. Excited to have Kainoa Winston. He's going to break some dudes. Like, if you thought what Makari Page did to Will Howard was something, Kainoa Winston's going to do that to every QB he faces. Elijah Dotson, best players in Michigan, play in Michigan. He knows that. Another top 150 DB, Lamar Morgan, cooked his Lamar Morgan, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, Lamar Morgan is the best recruiter on this staff. I'm excited to see what he does with 2026 because he absolutely just crushed it. He crushed it. I don't think I've seen a coach recruit this well since shit. I don't know. I'd have to think maybe that 2017 wide receiver class was pretty nasty. So since then, the one with Nico Collins, Tariq Black, DPJ, and then Oliver Martin, that was ridiculous. Okay, Jacob Washington, your X-type wide receiver, 2 to 3 years, you'll see him make an impact on the field. Jaden Sanders, another big body, 6'2" corner. That's what Lamar Morgan really likes. He likes those long arm, good frame corners. Excited to see him. Some think he's underrated. Some think he's higher than national 226. I'm interested to see how he develops. Jasper Parker climbing the rankings his senior season, making an impact. Anybody who watched Jasper Parker this year, and I mean scouts, not even fans, they said Jasper Parker's special. Jasper Parker has a lot of ability. When he went to the All-American like camps and even the stuff in the summer, he just shined out, man. He just totally showed out. Extremely talented running back that I'm excited to see at Michigan. Very balanced running back. He's not a high speed burst guy. He's not a power guy. He's just an all around guy. So I'm excited to see Jasper Parker in the maize and blue. He will I feel confident we will see Jasper Parker making plays on Saturday. Benny Patterson. This was the big addition. This is the flip from Cincinnati. 6'4", 244 or 245. He's a monster. Okay. This is one of those like he's gonna fuck you up. I'm just like you're gonna line up across him. He's gonna punch you in the mouth. Benny Patterson plays with a mean streak, a nasty mentality. Excited to have him. Bobby Kanka, all effort, does not stop. That's the type of player Bobby Kanka is. He's one of those individuals. He's one of those players that if you line up against him, every single play is 110%, boys. 110%, boys. So I'm excited about that. We love players who have that. Chase Winovich was. I'm not saying Chase Winovich, by the way. That's not my comparison, but I want to give you an idea of a player. Chase Winovich was not the most talented, athletically gifted rush edge at Michigan, but he had a motor. Bobby Kanka has a motor. Now, I'm not saying he's Chase Winovich. Let's not put that on him, but I am saying he is that type of player, though, in terms of motor, all gas. Chase Herbstreit, he knew the deal. He grew up an Ohio State Buckeye. Brainwashing did not help. He's now a Michigan Wolverine. We'd love to have him. We'll take a look at the portal class as well, guys. Lawrence Tatar, who will be coming in June. Caleb Anderson, the 6'2", again. Lamar Morgan loves these big body, long arm corners. Caleb Anderson, the 6'2" corner out of the Louisiana Raging Cajun. I'm excited to see him in this defense. I really am. I mean, Lamar Morgan knows him very well. It's going to be exciting to see what they do. Anthony Simpson's going to be like, So Anthony Simpson, one of the wide receivers we brought in the portal, there's some, I know I made a video where I said, I'm just not sure if he's a D1 caliber, what he's going to produce at the D1. Not now, he did play D1 at UMass, but I mean, at a Power 4 program in a major conference like the Big Ten, we're going to find out. Anthony Simpson he's going to have his opportunity this year because we're going to need that help. We're going to find out together what Anthony Simpson can bring to the table. I'm hoping he crushes it. Trey Williams coming in to play a depth role position in the rotation, coming out of Clemson, Michigan. Lou Esposito was very high on him. He was a player they identified. They looked past, for example, David Gusta, who I wanted out of Washington State. David Gusta, who actually, his family loves Michigan. David Gusta likes Michigan. They actually wanted to come to Michigan, but no, they locked in on Trey Williams, man. That's just, I don't know. Michigan just locked in on him. That's who they wanted. They went after him. They got him. We got Justice Haynes, who is the difference maker. He's going to be your RB1 next season. It's going to be RB1, 1A, 1B with him and Jordan Marshall. That's going to be exciting. TJ Metcalf, starting safety next season. Listen, he's a physical player. He's also got a little ball hawk in him. He's got great NFL DNA. He is a cousin of DK Metcalf. Shout out to the Metcalfs, by the way. Mikey Keene, he's going to compete with Bryce Underwood. He's either going to make you guys happy or break your hearts. He is a good quarterback, guys. He's an above average quarterback. He has one issue. Well, I guess you could argue two issues, but really one issue. The one issue is turnovers. The other issue is beyond 20 yards. Beyond 20 yards, not the quarterback you really want for that. Anywhere from 0 to 15 elite. We're talking like crazy completion percentage. We're talking, I think before the line of scrimmage of the 10-yard mark is in the 80s, which is elite. I think beyond 10 to 20, it's like 70 something. It's something along those lines. They're very good numbers. He's actually a very good quarterback at the college level. He just has a bit of a turnover decision-making problem, and that's a problem. We went through that with Davis Warren earlier on in the season. You just can't have that. Hopefully he gets it together this offseason. Let's see him develop. Guys do it all the time their senior year. Let's see what he can do with it. Troy Bowles, the former top 100 player, came out of Georgia. Obviously the son of Todd Bowles, the head coach of Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got Damon Payne, best players in Michigan, stay in Michigan. He came back from Alabama. I'm excited. Damon Payne was somebody that, sometimes you look back at the former classes and you think, man, I wish we would have got that player. He's one of those players for me. I really wonder what he could have been if he developed at Michigan from year one. I bet he'd be on a Rayshon Benny trajectory. We got Tevis Metcalf, who's a pit bull. I'm a huge fan of Tevis Metcalf. His film actually impressed me a lot. I mean, if he was a freshman coming out of high school, and I see the transfer ranking, I don't give a shit. His film's impressive. It's coming out of high school, which is what we watched. He has 3 years of eligibility. Excited about that. Brady Norton also has 3 years of eligibility. He's a developmental prospect for Michigan. You will probably see him make some type of impact, I would say, in 2 years. Junior year, you'll probably see him potentially fighting for a starting position. Donovan McCulley is who I believe is going to lead Michigan in receiving this year. I think Don McCulley is about to ball out. That's my call. You want a bold prediction on the transfer portal? Donovan McCulley is going to ball out. He was up for all Big Ten honors, not last year, but the year prior, because he sat out this year to keep his eligibility. But the next thing we're going to get into, let's just take a look at our guy, Bryce Underwood. Let's take a look at the number 1 player in the nation, Bryce Underwood. We'll watch this for a few minutes, and then we'll take a look at the depth chart, and then we'll give our overall thoughts on the class. But as you can see, this is really the cream of the crop here. We're talking about the number 1 quarterback in the nation, the do-it-all. And I just heard, I think it was yesterday, who said it. I don't know, but I agree. I can't remember who said it, but I completely agree with it. So previously, I gave a comparison of Vince Young mixed with a Jaden Daniels. That was my initial comparison when he first committed to Michigan. I'm now evolving that because I like this other comparison better. Vince Young mixed with a Josh Allen. That's what I'm going with. Underwood has a stronger arm than Vince Young. He also has the mobility of a Josh Allen and a Vince Young. He has the size of a Josh Allen. I believe that is a very accurate comparison when you combine the two. And I actually watched a lot of Josh Allen when he was playing at Wyoming. And one of the biggest issues for Josh Allen, though, and this is where Bryce Underwood, I do believe, is ahead of Josh Allen at this point. Actually, I know. It's not even I think. I know for a fact. I could put money on it and I'd win it. his accuracy and his throwing technique is far more polished than Josh Allen was coming out of high school. We know this. I mean, look, the kid went to Wyoming. He just had an amazing arm. And actually, his completion percentage, I believe, was around 55 in college. We're talking about Josh Allen, which is awful. Very rarely does a quarterback at 55%, Anthony Richardson, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at a bunch of these quarterbacks who have terrible completion percentage that people think get drafted to the NFL or they're going to be something. Guys, it's so hard when a quarterback is in that 55 to 57 or lower completion percentage, even 58, the statistics show very low probability that they're going to develop into an accurate passer. Josh Allen is one, though. He's an outlier. That said, you look at Josh Allen now in the NFL, I'm telling you, you're going to see a Vince Young, and you're just like, oh, TJ, that's high praise. That's nuts. You're talking about Heisman winners. You're talking about MVP candidates in the NFL. Bro, you're fucking right. I am. You're damn right. That's what I'm talking about. Because Bryce Underwood is gonna win a Heisman at Michigan. He's probably gonna win a national title at Michigan, boys. Like, this kid is the greatest quarterback prospect since Trevor Lawrence. This is essentially unanimous. I know Rivals is crazy. They put him to second or so, clickbait engagement farming crap. Everyone thinks that's crazy. We all see your game, Rivals. Look, I'm telling you, Bryce Underwood's that freaking dude. And then we could talk about starting week 1, snap 1, but that's a debate for another day. And you can call into the show. We could debate that. But I'm just saying, like, we have a player who's gonna get us to another national title. And you see the way Michigan is constructing. That actually brings us right to our depth chart. Let's take a look at our depth chart now. So bear with me as I pull this up. Michigan is constructing this roster as we speak, to build it around none other than top dog, Bryce Underwood, right here. Bryce Underwood, as you can see, what did they do? They just surrounded him with bodyguards. Ty Haywood, Babaloa, Gash. You got Sprague, for all those who want to give me crap about how I pronounce Sprague. It's Sprague. I got it. I read it in the comments. I appreciate you, though. Okay, so, look, the area for me on this roster, we've talked about this. So let's take a look. All the blue, for those who are new to the way we do the depth chart here at The Voice of College Football. Well, I do the depth chart. The blue are our incoming freshmen. The areas in yellow are areas I feel, this is my opinion, I feel we have room to improve in terms of roster additions. These are areas I feel Michigan should be at a higher level at. Now, I will say, to qualify, I have Andrew Marsh at the Z starting next year. It could be Fred Moore. It really could be. We're going to find out in spring ball. We're going to find out in fall camp. The reason why I have Andrew Marsh in yellow, not that I don't think he's a great player. I actually think he's going to ball out his freshman year. I think his freshman year, he's going to make a name for himself. That said, I do think Michigan, and I love Andrew Marsh, the prospect. I do think Michigan should have got another wide receiver in the portal, and they just might. There's word that they may go after Skylar Bell after he graduates. And if they do get Skylar Bell, I'm going after those Connecticut fans who knew they had Connecticut fans. They did, but they came at me. I don't know. They're crazy. But, other areas I feel we could upgrade. Definitely left guard. I mean, Lawrence Attar is not coming back till June. We've had this discussion. Left tackle's interesting. Is Evan Link the guy we saw against Alabama? Is that who he is? I know the coaches are high on him. We're going to find out. Samaj Morgan's a big year for Samaj Morgan. Zero tech. I think Damon Payne's going to play some zero tech. I really do. I think Trey Pierce looked good when he had opportunity. We're going to find out if he's ready for the full workload. And then corner. I don't think this is, I know it's yellow, but I mean, quite honestly, you could slide Brandon Hillman down here. You could slide Rod Moore down here, put Brandon Hillman there. Zeke Berry can go inside. I know he didn't play as well as he did outside, but at the end of the day, this is a good roster. This is a very good roster. This is, in my opinion, a playoff contending roster. I do think we upgraded at quarterback, whether it be Mikey Keene or Bryce Underwood. I fully expect Bryce Underwood to get a lot of snaps, more than what JJ did his freshman year. And Bryce Underwood may very well take the job after the Oklahoma game. Shit, he may ball out week 1 and it's a wrap. It's possible. I'm not gonna say it's not possible for Bryce Underwood. There's a reason why he's considered. He is the 4th highest ranked quarterback since 2000 coming out of high school. Vince Young was ranked higher. Okay. And to be honest, he would have been ranked higher again if Rivals wasn't, on some funny shit. But that's just what it is. So this is our class, guys. This is the number 6 class in the nation. Sharon Moore. doing what needed to be done for a foundational class. Shout out to Sean McGee. Shout out to the collective. Shout out to Queen Jolynn. Shout out to Queen Jolynn. Shout out to the regents all the way down to the entire recruiting staff, to the analysts, to everybody involved. You guys did an excellent job. Number 6 class in the nation. This is what, as a Michigan fan, before I get out of here, all I wanted Michigan to do, honestly, was recruit at a top 10 level. And Michigan's pushing top 5 levels. And that's all we need. If you can recruit at a top 10 level, you can win a national title. All it takes from that point on is coaching and development. And Michigan excels at development and coaching. And we saw this year, the team we saw from week 1 all the way to us whooping Alabama's ass in a rainstorm. Development, growth, progression. Saw a lot of players start to shine, didn't we? We saw a lot of players start to show out. We saw Jay Sean Barham and Ernest Hausman take it to the next level. We saw Cameron Brandt start to make a name for himself. TJ Guy, Zeke Berry, Jair Hill. Both of them were locking dudes down. Ohio State couldn't do anything. And don't let Ohio State lie to you and say, oh, well, we had a terrible game plan. Yeah, it was stupid to run up the A gap. But you threw it 32 times. No, you didn't throw it again. You threw it against Michigan more times than anybody except Texas. And you threw it the same amount of times against Texas. So that's some bullshit. Don't ever let them lie to you. They took an L, got their ass beat. That's our stadium, by the way. And if you look at some of the other guys, look, Evan Link played well. Andrew Sprague played well at the end of the year. A lot of guys stepped their game up. Jordan Marshall got his opportunity to shine, and he showed out, man. He won us. He was one of the main reasons we won that game. Michigan is, in my opinion, a program on the correct trajectory. I think the program's in a very healthy place. And then before we get out of here, the last thing I want to hit on, guys, is I'm still seeing it in the comments and social media. Because Steve Wilfong did put out the comment that Michigan's not going to be beat on the NIL front. They're not going to be outgunned. Michigan is an NIL player, and they're one of the top NIL schools in the nation right now. And then I got people, and I'm not no names. It's all respectful. Oh, well, except the transfer portal. Guys, I don't know if you watch our show or not. You should, because if you did, you'd know. But if you don't know, it's okay, because here's the deal. When it comes to the transfer portal, Sean McGee takes an NFL-like approach. He is only going to pay you for your value based on production. And if Michigan does not feel your value meets your projection or your production, they are not going to overpay you. Guys, you guys have average offensive lineman getting $1 million, $1.5 million. That's what's happening right now. Michigan's not going to do it. They're not going to overpay for guys. They're not going to do it. And then you have the academic limitations, which this is not me complaining about the academic limitations. This is me simply articulating the problem, which is, and this is what happened with Rocco Spindler and then Pat Coogan. And that's not even a credit issue. That was a Michigan could not get them in because the registration window has passed, but other schools have athletic exemptions. And even if the registration window has passed, they still let them in the winter semester. They still let them play spring ball. Michigan won't do that. Michigan also has me and John received an email from a very credible individual, not even very credible, the most credible individual you could possibly get this email from. And he simply said in this email, and shout out to the individual who showed us this email because it was directed to them and they shared it with us. Because of Michigan's hard 60 credit rule, when juniors are trying to come to Michigan, they have to get to 97 credits by their senior year. That is the NCAA requirement. So for a player to make a 37 credit gap in winter semester, spring, and summer semester is a lot of work that players don't want to do. It's just what it is. And then all 60-year credits might not even transfer. Ask Miles Hinton, who had biology credits, not transfer from Stanford. It's what it is, man. There's a limitation in Michigan, which makes the transfer portal a bit harder than everybody else. But at the end of the day, who gives a shit? Because if you're recruiting at a top 5 level, we'll be just fine. Michigan will be just fine. So that is my analysis on the number 6 class in the nation, an elite haul by Sharon Moore & Co. And Michigan is in a good place, boys. Let's get excited. Underwood season is upon us. National title is on the horizon. We are going to get one in the Underwood era. Bet your money on it. And until next time, boys, it's always go blue.